Alright, guys, good morning. Good morning. Tomboy official. I'm driving. Got an appointment today. I don't know. I'm struggling hard in the mornings and then at night too. I've been drinking like not drinking, but like I've been drinking smoothies in the mornings. That's kind of helpful, but I don't really know what's up with it. It's like I drink the smoothies, that helps. I had some eggs with it today. Not in the smoothie, but on the outside. Dude, this car needs freaking steering fluid. I'm so sick of this car. I'm sorry. It's just like it's one of those things, it's like it's hard to really explain to people because it is a blessing to have a freaking car, but it's like, geez, this thing is so crappy. Like, I put steering fluid in it, let's call it Sunday. I filled the reservoir with it on, I want to say Sunday. I don't remember. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling, but today I wanted to talk about LGBT career opportunities within the field of digital marketing for the most part. I've talked a bit about reselling. That's probably the most that I've talked about. But the reason why I think that LGBT people would benefit from digital skills is because of the potential barrier to entry to well-paying work. So with um, jobs that are digital, you have a lot more flexibility. I would usually recommend, trying to get multiple streams of income. But reselling is probably the easiest thing to do, just if you're not reselling your own stuff, like garage sale, yard sale style. You don't want to get at risk of purchasing things and not being able to sell them, right? Because that's like worst case scenario. You're wasting your money on something that you think is going to sell, and then it ends up not selling, and now you got money into something that you're just sitting on, and it might not even be something you could use or something you would need. But yeah, so I do want to talk a lot about that, but I've just got a lot going on, guys. Like, I'm all over the place. My mood is literally all over the place. Like, I'm just trying to have good days like everybody else, and in the morning it's a struggle. Yesterday I didn't feel good till like probably about 4 p.m. I finally had a little pep in my step. It's just been a struggle for me. Like, I'm I don't know, part of me feels like I'm not really going through it, because there's nothing like super obvious. But I guess the internship coming to an end is potentially taking its toll on me. I don't want to discount that and make it seem like it's nothing. and I don't think it was a prejudice thing. I don't think it was a black thing. I don't think it was an LGBT thing. Like, this individual, from the time I started to speak with them about this opportunity, they were the one that mentioned that they want their company to be more diverse. Um, they want more people of color, more people of different gender variations and sexuality variations, and they're the ones who mentioned that that's a very important part of their company and their brand. That the research that they're in biochem usually is very highly Caucasian male, which is fine. There's no problem with that. But the CEO is a I don't want to say young, but she's not middle aged quite yet. She's younger than middle aged. She's like elder millennial age ish, and she's in Boston, has made multiple companies before, and I don't know why the other one or two companies she made, why she's starting a third one. That's something that maybe I could have clarified, because she kind of told me, but it didn't make sense, and I was like, kind of like, whatever. It's your time, your dime. You can do what you want to do. But whatever she was doing, I saw she had money coming in because I could see, the money. So I was like, okay. Once I saw that she had money coming in, I was like, well, she's clearly skilled, and I looked up the previous companies. I don't know if she sold it, or I can't remember the exact details as to why she was, you know, creating a second or third company, but I don't know. But there were some little flags. I don't want to go as far as to call them toxic or red flags. I wouldn't say it's that. Just I really think it's just that this person was unorganized. But I'm going back into business for myself. There's just some uh house cleaning, if you will, some things I've got to kind of clean up on my end, um to be able to, sorry, I'm drinking water, to be able to kind of have everything running and going pretty smoothly, because my sites aren't quite at that spot yet. um but yeah, I do want to give it time, um and I'm working hard on things, but right now I'm kind of like refreshing my brain so that I can put some things in order, so that I can just start banging stuff out. So I'm headed to a doctor's appointment right now, and after this appointment, I'm probably going to go buckle down at the library for a while. Maybe. I don't know for sure. That's what I should do. That's what I want to do. It's just, like I said, my energy is kind of all over the place. I didn't bring my lunch with me. I'm moving really slow today. Like, yesterday I fell asleep for like an hour and a half in the middle of the day after lunch. I did have a huge lunch though, but it was a full carb lunch. But you know, I can't do that every day. But also, I was up studying from like 6 in the morning, so I don't know, guys. But yeah, let's get on the topic. So, most of us, since about 2020, maybe even before then, but most of us, for at least the last 4 years, have needed job security. The reason why I know this is because so many people are changing jobs, changing careers, myself included, changing, uh, just trying to level up. And not necessarily because of, like some kind of reason Not trying to level up because of like some uh um how do I say this? Not trying to level up because of like sorry. that, that police that police SUV came literally out of nowhere, just started weaving in and out. I think maybe somebody ran the light. I wasn't even paying attention. But anyways, people need to level up for financial reasons. It's not necessarily because people are like so, gung ho about their work, or like, oh, I really want more education and I'm so like, I value this so deeply that I want more degrees, and I want more student loans to go to another university. And like, I don't think people are doing it for that reason. I do think there was, though, something that happened, um, where people during the pandemic were really struggling, and had a lot more awareness towards the daily grind, the kind of going through the motions. Maybe people weren't happy with their jobs and their careers and their lifestyle and their partners, and just kind of like how their money was being spent. I can't tell you how many people I know that in 2024 their goals are financial. Usually you hear fitness, and that is a lot of people's, that is a goal of a lot of people who I know. But in my social circles, most people have financial education goals, learning more about finances, practicing better financial habits and things. And it's kind of weird because I started learning about that in 2020, and I've noticed there's kind of been a revolution around like financial education, like people actually realizing I don't know anything about finances. I was told put my money in a savings account or retirement. I think when the meme investing got popular, people started to get a little bit more interested in investing. Honestly, that's where I feel like it started coming up, is people started investing more when, or thinking more about how to invest, when to invest, where to invest, when uh yeah, people started to think a lot more about it, you know when they were when they were during the Rona, um, when you started seeing people like Dogecoin Millionaire and all these other things, and people really gravitated towards that financial content. I'm a nerd, so I've been watching financial content for a while, but I realized there was like definitely an uptick in people having an interest in just generally learning about finances, where that was not happening in the past. People were just like spending, taking out loans, taking out debt. Even in the other economic crashes, people weren't. I don't remember people learning so deeply. People went back to school, but I don't remember people learning so much about finances. So in the last like 4 years or so, people have had to like educate themselves more about the housing market, and credit debt and student loan debt, and like even people getting into trades. I'm not saying that tone that I just used sounded maybe kind of weird. I'm telling you, I'm off today. Like, I meant nothing by that. I actually do believe in trades. As someone who went to university, went to grad school, I'm a strong believer in trades. I'm a strong believer in work experience. Like, work your way up. If you can get experience working your way up without, you know, 6 figures of student loan debt. I can't tell you how many people I know that are over 200K in student loan debt. I have friends that are like $500,000 in student loan debt from doctoral programs. I'm not even kidding you. People who went to private schools or professional schools, $500,000, guys, $500,000. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine owing $500,000 just for your education? And some people aren't even working in those fields. They don't even work in the field. They don't like the field. They don't want the field. Um, it's not worth the debt to them. I had a colleague in my cohort who quit the program early, maybe the second year in, because she was like, I can make more as a personal trainer. And she left and she was like, screw this debt, like I'm gonna leave early. And I thought, I listen to what people say. Like, I'm not saying I do everything they do, but I listen to what people say. And I remember, even if I don't understand. So at that time, I did not understand that. I was like, wow, you're going to give up a potentially prestigious degree for, to do, personal training, which was kind of more of a passion of hers. So, and then I've seen other people who are veterans that get money on the side, and that's a big supplemental additional income. I've seen people who are in trades as electricians and things like that, and they make very good money, and they've been working their way up. I've seen people working in like types of, like, I guess it's like food or medical type of testing. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I've seen people move up in those fields as well. And this whole idea of the prestige of something just to go into debt, if you can't get a job that's going to really cash out for what you need it to at this point in time, is it worth it? And that's the question that I feel like most of us in my generation never asked, is it worth it? So I park now. I'm going to go into my appointment. When I come out, we're going to start talking some more about what these options look like as far as work opportunities. Jeez. All right, had a 9:55 a.m. appointment. Finish that up. Had a really chatty nurse. Got the steering fluid into the car at 10:25 a.m., 10:26 a.m. I'm headed out. Gotta get to the gas station. Gotta drop off some returns, Amazon returns. And then I don't know what I'm doing from there. Library. Probably not for a long time at the library though. But I was wanting to go to the library. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to the Starbucks that's like closest to my house. I don't like Starbucks. It's a little noisy, but I don't know. At least maybe I'll just go to Starbucks. I don't know. Because I got books at the library the other day, so there's no specific books I want, and the library is kind of out of my way. If I go run these other errands, once I do the Amazon drop off, I try to get everything done in an order. But alright, so I'm headed to the gas station. But yeah, so let's talk about some of these options. A lot of people are talking about agencies. There's e-commerce websites. I've talked a lot about reselling. I think that's the easiest thing to get into, but like I mentioned, it kind of depends on what you're reselling. So, like I've mentioned before, I've had pretty good luck with electronics and sports equipment. A lot of people have stuff, that you can sell for cheap. The cool thing about like headphones and stuff like that is that they're so lightweight and small. Even the big ones, even the over the ear, like bulky big ones, are still relatively small, considering that you can put it in a flat rate um shipping. And the if the buyer pays the shipping, you're usually going to be good to go. Um, so I don't know, but I think, I think, um, you know, the benefit to having online work, after I worked from home for almost 2 years, I realized, you have access to fresh food. I mean, depending on your home life, but you can throw something in the oven just before lunch, have it ready for your lunch break if you do have like timed lunch breaks, or you are able to actually like time it so you can eat lunch and not burn your food and stuff. So I got to eat healthier. Sometimes I would eat while I was working, like I'm making a wrong turn here. Like while I was writing, I would maybe like eat something. Um Dang, I don't want to turn here. Thought I was turning on Crenshaw. This isn't Crenshaw. Um Actually, this is fine. I can get where I'm trying to go. But yeah, to just kind of think about that, think about kind of, what gets missed, um, kind of along the way, you know, there's there's just kind of a lot, that you miss out on, and especially if you live in a trafficy place, or if you live somewhere where you have a long commute by train or bus or whatever. Think about if you had an extra hour a day one way, that's 2 hours a day that you have. That's 10 hours out of your week that you could either rest more, eat better, clean, get a little more exercise, practical stuff. It doesn't even have to be sleeping in, or just working in your PJs or whatever. It doesn't have to be just like a laziness thing. Like literally, you literally have 10 hours worth of energy. Because like, say even if it takes you 40 minutes to get to work, that still is about an hour. You're still going to have that time where you want to get there early, right? So unless you're kind of like at a time in your life, everyone goes through periods where they're maybe running a little later than usual, or having a harder time getting up than usual and things like that, that happens, so unless you're having a time like that where it's a little bit rougher on you, you're usually going to be good to go. And just having things like that happening, you're usually going to be doing pretty well. You're usually going to be doing um you know okay with things, you know and just think about all the time you get back, time, energy, just from simply not having to drive more, and then all the health decisions that you can make. you know I mean, it seems like nothing when you're used to running ragged, but if you've ever had a chance to try it long term, you realize you can really make some big changes in your life. um you can really organize your days a little bit better, especially for people who are overworked, underpaid. you know Being underpaid and overworked from home, you kind of have more say. We used to have a system where, you're supposed to talk to a client, write the note, talk to a client, write the note, like back to back like that. Like once you talk to them, you write the note right after. You're supposed to do it like that. What I ended up doing was talking to the client, talking to the next client. I'd kind of stack my client conversations. I'd text the clients who were first thing in the morning at 8 a.m. I'd text everybody back who had texted me. So I'd text people probably till about 9 or so. And then, I'm taking my own notes of timestamps of how long it takes me to do that work. And then, calling places that open around 9 o'clock, usually close to lunch, close to 11:30, they stop answering their phones. So that's usually where I take a break. And then take some phone calls around just before lunch, maybe take one or two phone calls. Actually, I'd have my lunch around 2. Take one or two phone calls, you know, and then I'd spend my break, my actual lunch break, I would spend it, the 30 minutes. Sometimes I would exercise during that 30-minute period of time. So I'd literally spend 30 minutes just like kind of working out, This is all during work, you know. So around 12, I do that. Maybe take another little break after that for like a protein shake or something. And then, make the last calls of the day or answer calls or return calls up until maybe 2 p.m. Then the last 2 hours of work, I would spend writing all the notes. Like, I wouldn't take calls, you know, I would write my notes all that time. So I kind of tailored my schedule to my energy. Now, if I was in an office, I'd have somebody breathing down my neck telling me, do it this way, do it that way. But that didn't work for me, It's like splitting my attention. I like to do things like bulk activities. So, like, all my calls to certain offices at one time, all my client calls at a certain time, all the texting at a certain time. I like to do things all in a certain order like that, because for me it was just easier. It's like it's easier for me to like wrap my brain around, okay, I'm texting now, okay, I'm calling now, okay, I'm emailing now. I try to do things all at once, so I'm not like doing this then doing this then doing this then doing that then doing that then doing this, and just like splitting my attention is just so exhausting to do it the way that they wanted me to do it. And I was so efficient, and you know it was a system that worked for me, that if I was in an office, they would have told me don't do it that way, um because that's what they would say. um Even if I'm more efficient and more focused and more motivated doing it the way that I learned for myself to do it, they wouldn't really care, right? They'd want me to do it their way. So that's another thing, if you have people breathing down your neck and just like forcing procedures on you that aren't really logical sometimes. Like, even if you look at a lot of research and stuff, like the way people multitask, multitasking is not proven for, lowering anxiety. It doesn't help you with actually being more productive, and it actually drains you faster, and you're less efficient. And so why would somebody use a model that involves multitasking? You know what I mean? Things like that just don't make sense. And these are people that um do things um kind of based on what they consider as like scientifically proven methods, and it's like, well, that's not scientifically proven. um it's just what they want, because their fear is that you're not going to get the note done on time, so you're going to spend time after 4 p.m. writing a couple notes. Where for me, if I have to spend an extra 15 minutes after I logged out just to finish one note or something, I'd rather do that than be depleted every day, just from following somebody else's method of what they tell me to do. So working from home was one thing that really cut down on that, just being able to kind of make my own method. Yeah, we haven't even really started talking about discrimination. I mean, that's another issue. I mean, we all know that job sites are not allowed to discriminate, and I have noticed, you know, this isn't brand new, but it wasn't always the case that job applications asked you about, declaring, or, voluntarily declaring if you have veteran status or mental health or physical health issue or diagnosis or disability. I don't even know why they ask that. It's like, can they use it against you later on? I'm not too informed on like why that comes up. Because I feel like, why do they need to know? Like, why do they need to know that? I feel like there's more space to discriminate. I know sites say that they don't discriminate, but it's like, I mean, they can't discriminate based on those things, but um, if you volunteer the information, if they don't want a person with that situation going on, then why would they hire someone? Like, um, and that's kind of my issue with LinkedIn as well. It's like, there is room for people to racially profile and to profile in other ways. Like, if you're born female and have long hair versus if you're born female and you have a buzz cut or a mohawk or like a shorter hairstyle, who's to say that somebody from someplace is gonna just overlook your interest in their company, not based on your skills but based on how you look. you know if you're prettier, if you're more attractive, if you're more handsome, if you're more good looking versus if you're not, if you look older, if you have gray hair, if you don't have a professional profile photo. I mean, all these things are methods that people can use to discriminate against you. Um even on resumes, some resumes, they have you put your address, they have you put all kinds of information, where it's like, if somebody knows the city you're from, like, for example, and I've got, nothing against like Compton and all these other kinds of places in LA, but if you're from Beverly Hills or Malibu and you're like applying somewhere, let's say, or Hollywood, and let's say you're applying somewhere where they're not even from LA, let's say they just know the reputations of LA cities, and for some reason a bunch of people from LA are applying. If you're from Compton or Inglewood or Long Beach or Watts or whatever, versus a bunch of people applying from Malibu and, Beverly Hills. Hollywood has some parts that aren't maybe like the safest, but it also has some really nice, it's got a pretty wide range of like um types of places, but it's also popular. People know the name Hollywood, and they don't usually associate it with like crime and stuff like that. And other neighborhoods, you do associate with crime. And some other places, if someone says they went to Harvard or Yale, someone reached out to me the other day from a recruiting site that said they were from Yale Law, and I was kind of like vaguely impressed. It made me look through their profile more than I probably would have any other person, but that stuck out to me. Like, it was at the top of their profile. It had nothing to really do with what the job was that they were pitching, but they were from Yale Law, or so they said. And who's to stop someone from saying that they're from somewhere that they're not? Who's really going to check? There, a lot of places aren't going to make you. So I have had places, make me show my degree or bring a copy of it or whatever. But a lot of places aren't going to show the degree. A lot of places aren't going to, you know, um, have you bring your degree proof and all that kind of stuff. so you can say whatever you want to say on LinkedIn. It might get your foot in the door, right? But it's like, you got to think about all these weird strategies that you got to have, just because of, people seeing a certain name or a title, where it's supposed to be about your job experience, your work experience. It's not supposed to be about if you look gay, if you look a certain race, I mean, your name usually can give you away too. If you have a name that's like a foreign name, there was a guy on YouTube that did research kind of on, I don't remember how many applications. I probably can't find the video again, but I believe he was Asian or Caucasian. I can't remember. And he sent the same resumes with the same background with a different name. Say it was like an American sounding name like John Smith versus a name like Hyuk Sung or something, and he would send his applications in, and the ones that appeared to be white American in some fields got interviews. And it's like, this is the same guy. So he did it with women's names too. And these are paper resumes. I don't know if it was linked to a LinkedIn profile. I don't remember if he went that far. But that just shows, if one person can do that and get different results, there's definitely discrimination, based on more than just like, did you get a good education, and are you the best person for the job, based on experience or potential to learn. Like, have you shown that you can learn? Have you shown, good practices and, being able to kind of, be able to show that you have a good work ethic, even if it's in school, right? All right, guys, so let's talk about some options. So I think one of the scarier things for people is, they don't want to quit what they've got with hourly pay from a job, because there's no guarantee what's going to happen. And, at least with hourly pay, you can get benefits. It's kind of like, where your paycheck's coming from, so long as you're showing up for work and the company hasn't gone under, or they're not laying people off. It feels a lot more secure. What I would recommend for most people, and this is not financial professional advice, but what I would recommend for most people is try and find a way to, at the very least, make additional income. If you can get yourself positioned in a way where you're making more money, now what more money means is relative. You could do secret shopper gigs and get like an extra, like I got an email from a reality-based group this week. The one in my actual neighborhood got scheduled by someone else already, but I think the closest place to me would have been the city of Hawthorne. And you pay out of pocket and get a Pizza Hut pizza or something. You have to like take a picture, do a review or something. I don't even know what the instructions were, but basically they reimburse you. I don't know how long it takes for the full reimbursement, but as long as you keep the receipts and do all the rules, they fully reimburse you. And then the whole thing is you basically start being able to get, you're able to kind of get you're able to get reimbursed, and you're able to get, I think it was $10, right? So you do have to come out of pocket, and I don't know the reimbursement schedule. Like, do they reimburse you the day that they pay you out? Is it once a month? Is it by the next week? I really don't know. But you lose money up front, but you make an extra $10. And those aren't guaranteed. It's not like you're going to get them every day. It's not like you're even going to get them every week, because you have to qualify for them. You know, you could technically go and get one in some other city that's like far away, and then like you still have to consider the gas you're spending or whatever to get there. So it's not like you're not spending any time or money doing these things. And for the amount of work that you do, waiting for the pizza, driving to get the pizza, taking the pictures or whatever, is it worth $10? You know, like, because some secret shopper tasks really take a little bit too long, in my personal opinion. It's like, for all that work just for $10. Now, if you had a few stacked where you could do, like, say you had like 4 or 5 gigs in a week that would be $10, you know, that's still like $40-$50 extra a week. I mean, that's not a lot of money either, but it's something to work with, right? And so you got to kind of think like that, like, you know, is it worth it to you? And where's the money going? That could easily pay off like part of a credit card every month, you know, get a leg up on some things, you know, like if you've got stuff to pay down, that would definitely be a way to do it, you know. But again, if they don't pay you out by a certain day that you need the money, it's really a lot of like moving money around, being good at math, being good at time management, and having the energy to do these little tasks, because it adds a little bit of tedious work to your day. It's not like it's you know, it's easier to go to the same office every day and do the same thing, you know. That's easier. I'm not saying you're going to make a living off of like mystery shopping and stuff like that, but it's an option. And same with reselling. That's an option. Like extra money, right? But when you don't have guaranteed extra money, that's hard. So I would say some worthwhile tasks are learning social media in depth. You know, now it takes a while if you're podcasting, if you're YouTubing, if you're doing any of these things. It takes a while to kind of build an audience, kind of get something going for yourself. It's not like it's going to be overnight that you're just going to like start making money right away. These things take time, you know, they take energy. You have to put in effort, you have to put in work. A lot of unpaid work. So that's why I'm saying, like, you wouldn't want to quit your job, but just learning the skills in general. If you can learn how to do it for yourself, you can learn how to do it for someone else. You can learn it for another person. You can help someone else make money. And that's kind of the direction where I would say, you know, if LGBT people, you know, took advantage of, and I'm not saying they're not, but in general, if the LGBT people took advantage of learning, you know, how to help companies make money online, how to make money online with their own, like, online business, online store, without putting in, like, you know, $100,000 or whatever, like, starting small and working up, you know, it's up to you to make that money. Nobody's screening you out, nobody's firing you, nobody's sexually harassing you, like, hopefully, you know, like, there's no guarantee, like, you know, they always say too, you know, when you have your own clients, every client is your boss. And so, you know, depending on what it is that you're trying to do, what model you're working with, if you're meeting with people on Zoom calls or whatever it may be, you know, you might have people, you know, struggling to kind of, you know, it might be hard, basically, on you. It might be a struggle to feel like maybe you might be on someone might get on your bad side, or like whatever it may be. Like, you might end up dealing with a problem, you know, with people. And, you know, there's almost no way around that. I don't really know if there's really a way to never ever have any kind of issue come up with any person ever, you know. But, you know, if you can set your own terms, nobody's telling you how much you can make, you know. If you can get 1 client, 2 clients, 3 clients, you know, however many clients you can get, and you're helping them, and you've got an agency of some kind that you're making for, maybe you're helping the LGBT community and you're helping other LGBT people build up their brand and build up their websites and build up their YouTube channel. And, maybe you're scripting videos for YouTube. Some things make more money than others. But if you can find some kind of freelance work that you can do, and if you know how to market yourself, either cheaply market yourself with good quality marketing skills, or spend a little bit of money on it and get some good clients that way. I mean, honestly, I feel like that's the way to go. And as much as people might not want to talk about it, I feel that's really the way to go. And but I wouldn't say, quit your day job and, invest all your time, energy, and money in something right away. Test it out small. It's almost like, if you've gone to like a kind of, like before you go to college, a lot of people sometimes don't know what they're going to major in. And so, they don't just go full force and just start like, oh, I'm going to be pre-med or whatever. Like, they test things out. Maybe you haven't chosen a major. You take a bunch of general classes at a community college. It's still good quality education. I'm just giving this as an example of a way that you kind of dip your toe in. Like, the education system can kind of do that. You kind of learn, history, anthropology, English, math. I'm better at these things. I'm better at this than that. This comes more natural to me. This I could see myself studying all the time and enjoying it. And then these other subjects, I'm just like, it's like, I'm just really struggling to have to sit and learn some of these other topics. I really couldn't care less, or just my brain just doesn't grasp on easily, and it's harder. Sometimes you might like something that's really hard, and you might gravitate more towards it just because it interests you. There's nothing wrong with a challenge. And then other times it might be a pain because you're getting bad grades. You might get bad grades, or have a hard time getting good grades. Even if you do get good grades, you might lose a lot of sleepless nights over it. It might be high stress, so you probably wouldn't major in something that you're naturally doing poorly at, that gives you a whole lot of stress. You're probably going to major in something that, gives you more joy. Even if it takes you longer to grasp it, if you're interested in it, it makes more sense to major in it. And it's kind of the same way in the digital world when you're trying to, freelance and make your own job for yourself. You're usually going to choose stuff that you kind of gravitate towards. Otherwise, like, if you don't like video editing, you're not going to create like a video production website or whatever. You're not going to like go in like that. If you don't like it, there's no point, right? So certain things like that. But if you don't like writing, you're not going to try to blog for people. Like, that's just going to be like pulling teeth, and you bring it on yourself. It's like, well, why would you bring that on yourself if you don't even like it? You have more flexibility to choose what you like. A lot of people nowadays, you have the skills, so it's not like you don't have the skills. It's just I think marketing and advertising are the skills that most people need to learn, and SEO. I feel like most people could build on the skills they already have. Like, most people are on TikTok and Instagram posting their own stuff anyways. So if you can already do that and write descriptions, you already know what gets traction. You're already kind of familiar with like how to get somebody interested in something. And whatever you find gets the most traction, maybe that is something that you're doing a lot. And if you enjoy it, maybe that's the place to start. If you're a party animal and you like drinks, maybe reviewing drinks, at gay bars or something. I don't really know. I mean, I'm not trying to like get people into like an alcohol problem, but there are many things that people can choose. But I do think for populations that experience discrimination in the workplace, for groups of people who, have a hard time
getting a job in a tough market, it's going to be time consuming. You're going to have to focus and, try to create more than you consume. That's already hard because it's not naturally part of culturally how we do things a lot of times. But if you try that method, I think that's going to work for you. And just try it out, and see what happens. It's tough out there. And, if you can find a way to make it on your own, you won't have to rely on other people. And to a lot of people, that's a goal. For me, that's a major thing. Is like, I don't want to have to rely on other people to tell me when I can and can't make money. But yeah. So I'm going to get into this library, get some work done. I'm already hungry for lunch, but I know if I go home, I'm just going to eat and get too tired. So let me just bang out some stuff while I'm in this parking lot, get inside, get some work done till the proper lunch time, and then actually head home. I've been foggy all day, guys, but alright. That's all for now. Thanks for listening.